So yeah, day 12, slaying threats one layer at a time, defense in depth. The chaos of the recent merger, the company's security landscape has turned into the Wild West. Servers and endpoints, once considered fortresses, now resemble neglected outposts on the frontier, vulnerable to any attacker. As McHoneybell sifts through the reports, a sense of urgency gnaws at her. This is a ticking time bomb, she mutters to herself. It's clear they need a strategy, and fast. Determined, McHoneybell rises from a chair, her mind racing with possibilities. Time to suit up, team. We're going deep. That's what she said. Literally, as her tone of blend of resolve and excitement. Defense in depth isn't just a strategy, it's our lifeline. We're going to fortify every layer, from the physical servers to the basement to the floating clouds above us. Every bite, every bit. In this task, we'll be hopping into McHoneybell's shoes and exploring how the defense in depth strategy can help strengthen the environment overall security posture. So the learning objectives is learning about defense in depth, what the hell it is. Then we're going to look into basic endpoint hardening and the simple boot to root method. So the card today we've already looked at, so we know we need to start the machine. The machine we'll be playing around with is vulnerable by design. It's a Ubuntu service running Jenkins, and it's been configured for ease of use, allowing flexibility for users in exchange for security. So before we get started, we need to boot the two machines, one for attacker, one for the server admin. Click the green start button at the upper right of the task, and then give it 3 to 4 minutes to boot up. This will serve as the server admin point of view, and we'll be implementing some hardening best practices for this machine. For the attacker's perspective, it's recommended that you use the attack box, and you can do this by pressing the start attack box button at the top right, which again you saw me do. You'll log into the admin account via SSH using the credentials supplied below, and you can do this in the attack box by opening a new terminal and entering the command SSH admin at the IP address. So terminal SSH admin at 1.10.58.110. Yes, we want to accept the cert, and password is super strong password 123. No one's going to crack that, are they? Right, so you can also connect to the TryHackMe VPN via OpenVPN, and then you can use your local Linux-based machine, but we're not doing that. So, alright, so you'll know that both machines are ready when you can see the desktop, and the attack box lets you connect via SSH. Cool. So, guided walkthrough of the attack chain. As we discussed earlier, we're dealing with the server that is vulnerable by design. It contains misconfigurations that have been implemented with poor or simply non-existent security practices. This is part of the task. We'll walk you through one or many ways that you can escalate your privileges on the server. Skipping the enumeration part, we can access Jenkins via Firefox on the default port. So we don't need to scan anything. .10.10.58.110 port 8080. Ta-da! So yeah, we're already logged in. And now we want to be able to get a web shell. So we'll instantly gain access from the general workings of Jenkins. If we explore the features that we can play with, then you'll see that there is a way to execute arbitrary scripts for administration, troubleshooting, or diagnostics on the machine. By checking this further, you can see that this is used to spawn a web shell. So you need to click on Manage Jenkins, and then scroll right to the bottom, and then you've got the script console. Script console is a feature that accepts Groovy script. It's the type of programming language for the Java platform. Let's jump straight in and try to establish a reverse shell using the feature. The example below uses an edited version of this script. So there's a GitHub reverse shell that we can steal. And we're going to copy this and put it in the clipboard and paste it in the box. And then we need to put our IP address, which is... where's my terminal? Away date. Right, 10.10.196.213, so let's copy you. And then these need to be dots. So that's the IP. Port number is 6996. Nice. And then... so if we copy the script above and paste it into the console text box, remember to change the host value, open a new terminal, and then we need...
says. Atop it was visible next to the CPU stats graph.
Oh yeah. Good shout. Right, so we need to do netcat nvlp. So this will start the listener, and move this down here a bit. So if we scroll to the bottom and click the run button, that's just to this one. That's run, and we get a connection, which you just saw pop into the reverse shell, the netcat script. So once both the reverse shell script and the netcat listener are ready, press the run button at the bottom, and you should see an established connection in your attacker terminal. You can test the shell by sending some typical Linux commands like id and whoami. So id, we get the uid and the gid, and then whoami Jenkins. We're the Jenkins user. Right, so if we now look at trying to get the Tracy user and root, now that we have a web shell and the Jenkins user, we can explore the server's contents for things that we can use to improve our shell and maybe elevate our privileges. If we check the usual folders, you'll be able to find an interesting bash script in the ops scripts folder named backup shell or backup sh. So if we cd opt scripts and then ls, well, there's a backup in there. We can nano backup.sh. Oh no, wait, let me scroll down. There we go, we've got a username and password anyway, so let's copy you. Alright, so we've got some creds. And then, oh, have I killed my shell, so I need to restart it. So let's run nc again. And script, please. There we go. And I've got to copy this in once again. And change the IP. Let's do what you don't want just asking said. So 10.10.196.213. Here we go. We've got another connection. So do we actually need that? All right, might not need this. So let's just create a new tab. So this one is our netcat, and then the new tab will have SSH Tracy at 10.10.158. What's my IP? 110. Right, so we run that. Tracy's password is 13_1n_33. Did I type it wrong? 131n33. Okay. Cool, so now we've logged in as Tracy, so we've got 2 user accounts, the Jenkins and Tracy. So we need to look in, so we know that there's the backup running for her. The SCP command is a clue that SSH is being used on the server, so we can use it to upgrade our user shell. Open a new terminal and log into the SSH using the command, which we've done. If you use sudo l, password is 131n33. So Tracy, yeah, you can see that. So Tracy can run all commands, which is pretty dumb. So that all command line means that she can run any command as sudo. So this means that the user is created with inherently privileged access. As such, we can just enter the command sudo su and then we get root. So sudo su du sudo su. There we go. And now we're root. So who am I? Root. So now we've got root access. We can literally do whatever we like on this box now. It's completely hosed. So let's have a look. What tasks have we got? So default port 8080. Password of the user Tracy was 131n33. Root flag cd root. That's flag. So cat flag dot txt. Easy root without DID. Copy, paste. There we go. What is the error message when you log in as Tracy and try sudo l after it's removed? Okay, so we haven't got there yet. Let's go back up. Right, so we did this, and now we're looking at the defense in depth side. So from the attacking point of view, we're able to get a straightforward root access to the server, and this is really bad news for defenders, since the goal is to make it as hard as possible. So you're basically trying to deny them the goals and the objectives that they've got. In the next section of the task, we're establishing the defensive layers that then aim to work together, each layer making it more complicated for attackers to achieve their aims. Defense in depth is all about creating defensible environments whereby the security controls are meant to deter the bad actors from achieving the main goal. Notice that the emphasis isn't on never getting compromised, rather it's just making sure that bad actors don't succeed. This way, even if one or more defensive layers are bypassed, the stacking of these layers alone makes it much harder for the bad actors. Sometimes it's actually enough for the bad actors to try and minimise their losses and then move on to an easier target. So guiding the hardening of this server. So going back to the attack exercise from earlier, we discovered that root is very easy to achieve because of the full trust given to the Tracy account. So we're going to remove Tracy from the sudoers group. She has been denied. So we should always follow the principle of least privileges, especially for the systems in production. In this example, the user Tracy has been made in such a way that she has the same permissions as an admin. This gives the user more flexibility, however it also runs the risk of misuse, not only because the user of the account, but also for anyone who gains access to the account like we just have. So doing exactly what we just did. So to remove Tracy from the sudo group, we need to run the following command. Let's not run it as root, even though we are root. Let's get our admin one there. So admin. So sudo del user Tracy sudo. So that removes the group from Tracy. There we go. And then we can confirm the removal by looking at sudo l -u Tracy. User Tracy is not allowed to run sudo on Jenkins, so let's copy the error. That's the flag. Okay, maybe not. Do you want it from her? So where's my Tracy? Let's do a new one. New tab. SSH Tracy at 10.10.58.110 131N33. So if we do sudo -l 131N33. Sorry, user Tracy may not run sudo on Jenkins, so we want her response, not the one that we get from testing. Yeah, sweet. Cool, so what is the SSH flag? This is for Tracy. Have we got there yet? That's this part of the thing. Right, changes to the Tracy account won't affect the active sessions, so you have to log them in again as Tracy on a new terminal on the attack machine. The change alone has made all the difference between achieving root and staying as the user Tracy, because we can't run sudo su anymore. So now that the attacker is left with three options, they can either enumerate the server and look for more routes to root as Tracy, and then we can find a way to move laterally within the system to a different user account that might have another possible route to root, or we can just look for another target and start looking for another host to jump onto. So SSH, let's look at config. So are we doing it from hers or the admin shell? The admin shell, let's go cd etc SSH sshd config. Oh no, shit. Just go into SSH and then nano sshd config. There we go. Right, so for hardening SSH, the path to root was made more complicated for the attacker. This doesn't mean that we should stop there. Attackers can be very creative in finding all sorts of ways to accomplish privilege escalation. Any additional layers that we can add will make it harder for the bad actor to achieve their objective. Remember that as attackers, we're able to use SSH in the server and move laterally from lower level users to higher level users. With this in light, we can disable the password-based SSH login, and then that will thwart the possibility of an SSH login via a compromised plain text credential. So you can't just find creds, you would have to have the certificates to be able to do it. In the admin shell, go to the config file, edit it using your favorite editor. Remember to use sudo. Find the line that says password authentication yes and change it to no. And I didn't use sudo, so I need to reopen it. And we had an SSH flag, so there's a flag somewhere. Not there yet. We're here still. So there's a flag somewhere here. Kerberos. I'm being really blind. Where is it? Look. Password auth, where are you? Let's try some. Oh, did I just close my window? No! Hopefully it's still running. Yeah, cool. That's what I tried to do, and then I just closed my window. I can't do Control W while I've got the side menu open. I know it's in the comments, I'm just trying to read it, and I can't. It won't let me search. Could maybe do that. Oh, there we go. Right. Let's find where we were. Pass. Really? Use PAM, permit TTL. Password, oh there it is. There it is, got it there in. So it's halfway down. So password auth, set that to yes, change it to no. Remove the hashtag at the start, and then next find the line that said includes comp, so that was right at the top. Saw that one. Hash that out, and then save the file. It said there was a flag in here somewhere though. There we go. Need to secure this shell. Sneaky. Got there. Right, so that's the two changes. So we can save those by doing Control X and then save the buffer. And then Jenkins flag is the last one. So where was I? We did the SSH bit. There we go. So yeah, so now that we've changed that, we need to run another command, this restart command, to restart the SSH service. So sudo system ctl restart SSH, and that should, if we log out Tracy and then try to log her in again, we can't log in, so she's denied. She doesn't have the public key available, so she's rejected. In the example below, you can use egrep commands to show what lines within the file should look like, and then you can use the same command to see if you've successfully edited the file. So, we could have just used that. Right. Good to know after I've typed it in. It's worth noting that applying this hardening step assumes that there are other ways for users to log into the system, admin account included, and it usually involves the setup of a passwordless SSH login. However, for our purposes, we opt not to do that anymore. So, completely denying passwords, that's pretty extreme. Right, so then, stronger password policies. Another pivot point emphasized in our attack exercise earlier was the plaintext password discovery that led to SSH access to a higher privileged user. Two immediate things are apparent here. The password was weak, and it may be susceptible to a brute force attack. The user employed bad password practices by putting plain text credentials on a script and leaving that lying around for anyone on the server to see. We can apply stronger password policy, requiring the user to both change their password and make it compliant on their next login. However, it's solely up to the user to prevent bad password practices. Further plain text credentials, despite following a strong password policy, may still be used to move laterally within a web shell access that we got initially. Care really should be exercised when dealing with secrets, especially ones that belong to highly privileged accounts. So what that's saying is this account, the Jenkins user, because it's running the service, if you can get a shell to run as the user, you don't necessarily need their credentials to get a shell as them. So yeah, even with a strong password, you can still get onto an account. So now we want to promote zero trust. So once we've applied all of these hardening steps as we've discussed, you'll notice that we were able to patch many of the vulnerabilities that we initially exploited to get into the room. In terms of the attack methodology discussed earlier at least. So we're back into the web shell that served as our initial foothold in the system, and it's accessible as a result of the Jenkins implementation that's assuming full trust from within the environment, because there's no login, like it just logs you in directly. So as such, we're going to do the last hardening step, which will apply in the server and will promote zero trust. Instead of opening up the workings of the platform to everyone in the environment, we're going to add a change that will allow just those people who have access to the platform to access it. And in the admin terminal, we'll proceed to the Jenkins home directory using the command cd, so in admin, cd/var/lib/Jenkins. Here you will see two versions of the Jenkins config file, config.xml and config.xml.back. ls there they are, and I just jumped up the page. So with those two config files, fortunately for us, the administrator has kept a backup of the original config before implementing the current one. As such, it would be more straightforward for us to just revert back to the original by removing the comments in the XML file. And for reference, the comment syntax is signified by the ! So this right after the opening bracket and the .. before the closing bracket. So that one. Anything between this then gets commented out. So using my favorite text editor, access the backup. So again, I'm a complete nano weeb. So nano config.xml.back, and then here we go. So we can remove those and remove the hyphens, and then remove it for security realm as well. And is that it? Yeah, so edit those lines of code, remove the authorization strategy in security realm, then save the file. We can remove the active config file. Let's have a look. Is this where we've got the Jenkins flag? Oh yeah, there we go, in the comments. Full trust has no place in security. Copy you. Hey, cool. So that was the last flag. Save the file, write the buffer, and then we can do rm config.xml. So delete the scuffed one, and then we'll copy config.xml.back into config.xml. And we need to sudo. And finally we need to do sudo system control restart Jenkins to restart the Jenkins service, which we just saw died in the background. So that should be coming back up again. Hey, there we go. Now we've got a login. So once we've done that, you'll see that unlike before, the inner workings of Jenkins are not disclosed, and it should be noted that the fresh install of Jenkins features a login page by default. So in conclusion, defensive layers don't need to be flashy. You can accomplish a lot with one-liners and simple implementations of security best practices. This is exactly what we've done throughout this task and addressing the specific exploitable vulnerability each time. This task is a simple demonstration of how it works in the real world. Each hardening step adds a defensive layer, and these layers work together to make a more defensible environment. Exploit one or two and you're still relatively defensible. That's because the next layer is there to make it harder for the bad actor to succeed in getting what they want. Defense in depth doesn't stop here though. The next step is setting up the tools and sensors that would give you a your defensive team's visibility over your environment. The output of these can then be used to create automated detection mechanisms for suspicious behaviour, and that's a discussion for another time. So epilogue. Great work team. McHoneybell says that with her eyes gleaming with pride, we've laid down the foundations of a robust defence, but remember that this is just the beginning. The cyber world is ever evolving, and so must we. Stay sharp, stay curious. The team nods, and a sense of accomplishment and readiness is evident in their postures. They are no longer just reacting, they are anticipating, ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead in their ever-changing cyber terrain. McHoneybell grabs her jacket, her thoughts already on the next challenge. Tomorrow we rise again. For now, rest well, team, that you have earned it. So that's it. So we've done all the flags. If you enjoyed the run, please check out SOC 1. This is a whole learning path. So again, you would have to go through all of these. Oh shit, I haven't done any of these. I think this is a new one from when my subs ran out. So yeah, we should do this SOC 1 at some point. Right, so we'll complete that. Let's terminate my attack box, and we will also terminate the target. Cool, and that is day 12. I hope everyone got something out of that. To wrap up,